Welcome YouTubers and fellow tankers to King's Court. I am Shrine King, and this is yet another review slash guide of a World of Tanks tank. In this one in particular, we're looking at the Tier 8 Premium AMX D Chauser. Now, the French lines are known for having like auto loaders, good angling on them, decent armor, typically some okay speeds. The De Chaucer is a little interesting because one, it doesn't have an auto loader. It does have a really good gun and it is very fast, but while it has great angling, it doesn't necessarily have the armor. So for those who are new, welcome. And the typical design of this is I'm going to cover like pros, cons of the tank, kind of guide on how to best play the tank for performance, hopefully to help you get better performance in the tank. Also kind of go into like, is it worth it? Is it not really that worth it? Like how much is it worth it? Now, for premiums, I kind of compare them with other premiums if possible, while when it comes to the actual lines themselves, I go into like module details and things like that. Also, I'm going to cover like where there's good matchup, bad matchups, things to kind of pay attention to. So, getting into pros of this, like you'll see I'm kind of going over the stats. Concealment is definitely good. It is very good at staying stealthy. The gun is really good. The fact that it starts with APCR rounds is amazing. That actually makes it to where you can snipe pretty well. The mobility on it is awesome. It can get up to speed pretty quick. That means you're able to maneuver around. It also means that you will be able to get in there to kind of get kills if you see flanks losing, maneuver around to go help that part. So it gives a lot of damage potential in this tank. Now, radio is pretty good, but it's not the top. I wouldn't consider it as like all that great. I would say it's pretty kind of like moderate when it comes to the tier, which means that yeah, it could have been better. Now, cons to the tank: it doesn't have very good eyes. The armor is actually pretty weak in comparison to some. So you'll see that it has 100 millimeters of hull armor, and you're probably like, King, that sounds stupid. How can you say that a tier 8 tank destroyer with 100 millimeters is weak? Well, honestly, because at the tier, a lot of tanks, they really are running a lot more than that. So here I'm showing off the Tier 8 AMX AC46. This is where the armor is starting to get there, but it's still not there. So you'll see it's at 120. The angling is definitely worse. So the truth is, the armor potential of this one in comparison to the Chaucer is actually pretty much the same. But you'll notice camo is definitely lower. Right, mobility is lower. Top speeds are similar, right? So the Chaucer is able to get up to 55. This one's showing as 50. So that's kind of giving you a gist of where it really stands. So, based on those kind of cons and pros, the thing is to bear in mind, you definitely, one, as a tank destroyer, want to be playing kind of support to your team, a sniper per se. In most cases, right, you're really going to be relying on your team because you don't have the eyes to really spot for yourself, which some tanks, they have the ability to do that, and there's tricks to work around that so that you don't necessarily get spotted. So, I mean, that's kind of the gist of the style for the tank. So getting into the guide aspects, kind of what I've already covered a little bit, saying like, hey, you want to make sure to support your team. So you want to pick out, most of the time, places where there's going to be a lot of open areas to let you kind of line up your shots. The other thing to bear in mind is because this thing is so low to the ground, higher ground is actually better for you, because otherwise you're not really going to get the correct angles that you're looking for to try to shoot targets. As a tank destroyer, actually as any tank, when using cover, you'll see here I got a bush in front of me, but then I have these other bushes. I'm using that on purpose. So like you'll see even right there, like as I took that shot, I made sure to have it lined up to take the shot when the trees are lined up with them. Now, not always will I be able to do that, but you'll notice like as you move farther, there's other bushes. All of that counts as camo bonuses to me, so that way they can't spot me. Now, with this tank, like I mentioned, it starts out with APCR. Now, why is that so important? Well, one, APCR is technically typically known to be higher in penetration, which in this case, that's not really the truth here. It's your standard round, you have heat for higher penetration. The truth is that APCR round's going to travel super fast. So you'll see I'm aiming at this guy at the time, like bam, as soon as I pulled that trigger, that round is already there on the guy. The only thing that's probably faster from what I've seen is the new Can Panzer, which I call it the Can Do Panzer because the thing's ridiculous. And actually, the style of the tanks is the same. So you see right there, bam, let out that shot, it's right there. Which means even high mobility targets, such as the CLC even, no big deal, I aim right at it, pull the trigger anyway, and you'll see like that was so close. Had it actually gone to where his turret was, it probably still would have hit, even though this guy is going so fast. A lot of other tanks, you're looking at round trajectory taking a while, so you always got to lead the targets. With this tank, you don't have to. So what does that mean? That means this is a super friendly, easy sauce sniping tank. If you are new to the game, you're like, man, I hate trying to lead targets. Okay, this is a tank for you for sure. Because, you know what? You don't really have to lead the targets. Now, you'll see here, like I said, it's able to move. It's able to get up to speed. But you want to make sure that you're always sticking into that radio range. Now, that said, ideally, you always want to be outside view range. And I don't mean your view range, I mean their potential view range. So you're looking at making sure that max view range, which in this case you'll see that white circle. If you're using like XVM, I think it's an orange circle is what they make for the max view range. Whereas the inner circle I think is like blue, something like that. So if you are doing that, you want to make sure that you're outside of that. Now you'll see here, I'm pushing up. I'm being a little aggressive here, and I'm like, well, my team is pushing up. I can probably do this. So like right here, I'm probably spotted. Now this Scorpion G, he thinks he's slick, and then well, apparently he was slick. He got a shot in him. But right there, you see pop the shot, and then you just roll back. And that's the nice part too, is this tank is able to go backwards pretty quick. Now, one thing to note, I didn't mention this, is the alpha damage on it is pretty good, right? I think it's a 400 average alpha damage, so that's where you're seeing like my shots are able to hit from 420, 440. The other thing is it's got great depression, and because it's like so low to the ground, that means it can do basically what I'm doing right here. You can go up on like little hills, kind of get like this, where, oh, nope, he bounced me because of the angle of my armor. Not necessarily that, hey, I had so much armor he couldn't go through. This guy totally can in the Conway. It's just he couldn't get the right angle to get through it to me. And this is where you can play like a little cheeky bugger. So you just kind of come up, hey, yep, I see you. Bam, real quick, shots in, and roll back. Now, that's only in the opportunity, as you can see, like I'm looking and I see, alright, well now there's a T-49 that's in my radio range, which means I'm probably within his radio range. If he gets into position, I'd be in trouble. Now that said, I should be okay because I see that, hey, I got a Jag Tiger that's kind of fighting him. Now sadly though, a Jag Tiger 8.8 against the T-49, if I was a smarter player and paid attention a little better, probably would have turned to help him. That would have been the smarter play. Because one, the T-49 probably wouldn't see it coming, and two, the Jag Tiger's really going to have a hard time trying to deal with the little mobile bastards who are like to surround them and make it to where they can't really fight, right? Because it's all about being able to turn around. So I mean, already you're going to see this thing's pulling in a lot of damage. So the next questions that are usually asked is, what do you do for bad matchups? Who's a bad matchup? Well, I can tell you right now, any tank of a similar style is going to be a bad matchup for you. Because of the same reasons. One, they're going to be hard to spot. Two, they're going to have good alpha damage. So like the Can Panzer, definitely bad one to fight against. Now at the same time, that also means anything that's got decent camo, that's got good view range, is also your bait, which those are pretty much your scouts, right? They all have pretty good camo rating, and then they also have good eye range, so they will be able to maneuver and spot you simply because they can get within range that you can't see. And if you can't see, sorry, you're just not going to be able to see. Whereas for them, they'll see you. Now, and again, see, look at that. That far away, still kept it right on him, and bammo, still nailed the guy. That is crazy. You'll see here he's using the dead body sneaky little bastard. But other tanks to watch out for. You have like 258 or something like that penetration. So tier 10 heavies would be the ones to be kind of careful about, because they can potentially have enough armor to block a lot of your shots and still push up on you, which would get you spotted. The other thing is certain not lights, but tank destroyers that are even lower tier you want to be careful of, such as like the E25, because the damn thing is just, it's too sneaky. It's got such great camo and view range and everything like that that it's nuts, right? And you'll see here I get screwed. I do what I can, but you can't always win them, right? So that's really the gist of it when it comes down to how to best play this tank. And then, like I said, there's a lot of tanks that you can consider as potential threats to this tank, but again, this is more of a support tank. You shouldn't really be frontlining like I am here. Like I had that T28 that's back there. Really, he should have been the one frontlining, but we were running out of time, so I didn't really have much of a choice. So yeah, I mean that's all there really is to it. Is it worth it? Absolutely. I love this tank. If you go down particular lines such as like the Germans, like you get to the JPEG 4. If you like the JPEG 4 and you play well in the JPEG 4 because it's kind of like a hit and run stealth assassin, then you're gonna love this tank. That said, the truth is, if I didn't care about nation and training crews, I would say the Panzer 105 is actually better. I would highly recommend that one over it because it has better camo, better mobility, and a better gun. You can't really beat it. So that's where I would kind of go. Now, with that said, though, there's not a lot of tank destroyers to pick from for premium for the French line. So obviously, this is a good one to train for crew. So by that alone, I definitely highly recommend it. And like I said, it is fun. If your team sucks really bad and they're not playing well, it definitely can hurt a lot. So again, I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you like it. Please like, subscribe, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if there's other information that you'd like to hear. Maybe in particular, like show stuff towards premiums. And as you can see, this thing definitely can pull some money. Catch you next time.